Today we take a look at portmanteau words, pronounced portmanteau. The word refers to a new word made from two words, and the meanings should be obvious, but sometimes they are not. For example, the portmanteau word brunch refers to a combined meal of breakfast and lunch, and my favorite, spork, is a blending between a spoon and a fork, as coined by Freemason and Kentucky Colonel Harlan Sanders. A portmanteau is an expandable suitcase. The two words get packed together, and then poofta, we have a whole new word. Let's unpack a few of my second favorite ones, and then take a look at why it is that we take a look at the two-word inventions today. Bollywood comes from Bombay plus Hollywood, which is the Indian film industry. Infomercial comes from information plus commercial, an advertisement that relays information. Mockumentary comes from mock plus documentary, a fictional story in the style of a documentary movie. Newscast comes from news plus broadcast, a television or radio show about current events. Pokemon comes from Pocket plus Monsters, and is a popular Japanese animation about fictional creatures. Prequel comes from previous plus sequel, which is a sequel to a film or book that occurs earlier in the fictional timeline than its predecessor. Sitcom comes from situation plus comedy, which is a narrative comedy story based on a specific situation. Telethon comes from television plus marathon, and is a continuous televised fundraiser. Affluenza comes from affluent plus influenza, and is a belief that a person's wealthy status causes a lack of motivation and almost no empathy. Ebonics comes from ebony plus phonics, and is a term to describe a common dialect in the African American community, with the sudden interest in a wide variety of genders. My favorite is the women's rights hero from yesteryear, Susan B. Anthony. Juneteenth comes from June plus 19th, is the Freedom Day, which is mainly in Texas, that commemorates the emancipation of the last American slaves and the official end of slavery. Medicare comes from medical plus care, and is a government-funded healthcare plan for specific citizens. Smog comes from smoke plus fog, and is polluted air. Staycation, what most of us have been doing recently. Enjoying the backyard when we should be in the front yard. Ampersand comes from and plus per se plus and is the ancient symbol that means and. Dumbfounded comes from dumb plus confounded, and means surprised into silence. Fortnight comes from 14 plus night, and is a period of 14 nights, or 2 full weeks. Squander comes from scatter plus wander, and means to spend one's time or money frivolously. Stash comes from store plus cash, and is a hidden collection of valuables. Velcro comes from velvet plus crochet, and is a brand of fabric adhesives. So why is it that we are looking at portmanteau words today? Velcro's patent expired on April 2 in 1978. It was developed by the curious Swiss engineer Georges de Mestral, who noticed how burrs clung to his clothing. Rather than cursing them, he looked at them with childlike wonder. Using a microscope, he discovered their natural hook-like shape in 1948. He put feet to his observations and worked with a local weaver to design a locking tape. The important discovery might have been accidental, but it happened to the mind that was ready to receive it. It was noticed that the new material, nylon, when sewn under ultraviolet light, formed indestructible hooks. Velcro uses two tapes, one with stiff hooks, like the burrs, which clings to the second tape, with soft loops, like the fabric of pants. The trademarked portmanteau name Velcro comes from vel, or velvet, and crow, from the French word crochet, which means hook. Encourage curiosity, especially in children, before the school system beats it out of them.